Today's video is based on an Epic Games title, which means you can support my YouTube channel directly if you end up purchasing this game. If you buy this game off the Epic Games Store, you can use creator code KEYSWORN, that's KEYSWORN, to support me and my YouTube channel directly if you're interested in this game and purchasing it. Remember to use creator code KEYSWORN at checkout on the Epic Games Store today. Enjoy today's video, guys. Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tnek127 and welcome back to another video. And before we get into today's video, guys, I do want to give a special thank you to Forthright and Redlock Studios for hooking me up with a review copy of Shattered: Tale of the Forgotten King for PlayStation 5. Now, before we get into today's first impressions, I do want to let you guys know that Shattered just recently came out on console platforms. It is available on PlayStation 5 and 4, Nintendo Switch, and also the Epic Games Store. By the way, if you do decide to purchase it on the Epic Games Store, be sure to use creator code KEYSWORN, that's KEYSWORN. That'll support me and the YouTube channel here directly. Now, for those wondering, Shattered will be available on Xbox platforms sometime in the very near future. For some odd reason, there was just a delay with the Xbox version, but they have been tweeting and talking about that, about the issues and things, and they are working on that. So there will be a pinned comment down in the comments below once they announce an official release date for the Xbox version. But the game will be available eventually on Xbox One, Series X and S as well. But anyway, guys, how are you doing today? And welcome to my first impressions of Shattered: Tale of the Forgotten King. Shattered: Tale of the Forgotten King is a single-player focused action RPG. Now, if you look at it from a first glance, I'll say straight up, it is a Souls-like title. I know a lot of people don't like using that term for God knows whatever reason. I cannot for the life of me understand why. I would think that term would be very humbling to From Software and, the people that made Dark Souls, knowing that, their game is doing so well that it needs its own subgenre to, describe other games that try and do similar things. But anyway, for those who don't know, it's it takes after those Dark Souls like as combat aspects, the stamina based combat, very careful blow trades, careful dodging and stuff like that. If you've played a Souls game or anything that's Souls like, you get the drift of how this game's combat works. Now, like I said, today's video will be a first impression, so I'm not going to talk too much on the story of this game because I am still learning it. But the story is one thing that intrigues me and keeps me playing, and I am going to discuss why that is later on in today's video. But the first thing I do want to talk about is the combat of Shattered, and that's one of the things that have turned me on the most about the game, because it does take that Souls-like formula, but they also do little cool and niche enhancements that work for this game's art style and atmosphere that wouldn't quite work in your typical Souls games. Well, I'm not gonna say they wouldn't work, because they probably could pull some of these things off, but there are some creative notions in this game that they go ahead and do. Like, for example, at one point in the game, there was this point where I got like this astral powered shield, and this shield had a really cool beginner tactic to it. So how when you're in combat in a lot of these Souls-like titles, when you're blocking with your shield, it'll constantly decrease your stamina. And if you run out of stamina while you're holding your shield, it'll leave you open for a riposte, parry, or to get stabbed, or, leave you vulnerable and things like that. Well, this shield would change color because it had like this astral magic on it, depending on the level of my stamina. So, for example, when I first started blocking and my stamina was full, the shield would be like a bright bluish green. And then if I got hit a few times and my stamina was like halfway down, the shield would turn yellow. And then if my stamina was real low, the shield would turn red. And I just thought, that was a really cool, like add-on and little feature. Something that could also help beginners too of the game, who don't quite understand the stamina system. That bright red shield glowing will remind you, like, hey guy, stop blocking and try to dodge a bit and get that stamina back up. And I just, I thought that was a really interesting thing. Another thing that I love about this game's combat is they're not shy about introducing you to really cool weapons and powers and everything right away. Like, don't get me wrong, you do have to work for it in this game. Don't get it twisted. You're not going to get like some super crazy AoE spell when you walk through your first door in the game. It's not like that. But they show you, you know, really cool weapons and everything right off the gate. You get your first magic spell, you know, pretty easily and stuff like that. They show you a variety of different ways you can play early on at the beginning, so that way, you know, you can have your build sorted for later. And, you know, I thought that was a really cool and interesting thing. Like, I picked up a magic spell pretty early on. The colored shield that I was telling you guys about, I got that pretty early on. I've killed one boss, and I've got to use 2 different regular swords, 1 great sword, you know. So I have a variety of different items where I can, you know, feel out the different kinds of play styles, what kind of build I want to do, and, you know, and different things like that, you know. And I honestly just think, you know, the combat in here is it's just, you know, it's a lot of fun. It does take from a lot of the similar Souls aspects, like I've said before. It's very stamina based. You run, you lose stamina. You dodge, you lose stamina. Even in here, when you jump, you lose stamina. And also, you can double jump in the game, so you have to be careful with that too. And there's a lot of parkour puzzles and things like that where you have to, once again, be careful of your stamina. And I think, you know, that's just a really other cool side thing that they added on here into this game. Another cool thing I liked about Shattered is its soundtrack. It has a really, really dope soundtrack. No spoilers too much on that. I'll let you guys, you know, hear a lot of the music and stuff for yourselves in the game. But definitely, you know, once I got to the first boss during my live stream, I was definitely sitting there jamming in my mind, and I almost died because I was so focused on, you know, the game's battle themes, music, and stuff like that. It definitely, you know, did a great job nailing it with the game's soundtrack. Another thing that's intriguing to me with Shattered is the story. Now, for 2 reasons, because I'm going to tell you guys straight up. Number 1, right now, I do not understand the story. And that, believe it or not, is kind of what has me intrigued, because I don't get what's going on. When you're first introduced into the game, you know, they're telling you about, you know, some of the past kings and, you know, what happened to the you know, the races of people that were created and stuff like that. They tell you a lot of the backstory and lore of what, you know, what's going on. But I'm still trying to learn about, you know, like who my character is, what his place is, and all this and stuff like that. And it just slowly starts to unfold more and more and more as you go along. So technically, I'm still kind of clueless about the story. I got the gist of, you know, the backstory of what happened and everything, but like what I'm fighting for, what my goal is, and what I'm currently trying to do, I'm still learning that as I go along. And I do appreciate, you know, that the game tries to keep you interested and show you along the way instead of, you know, just giving you all those answers straight up and up front. You know, I thought that was a pretty cool and an interesting thing. Now, when it comes to Shattered, I only have 2 small pet peeves when it comes to this game. Number 1, I definitely feel like the story would have been a lot more intriguing if there was some voice acting in Shattered. So far, I haven't seen any voice acting. Now, if that changes for any scenes or things that happen later on in the game, and I'm wrong about that, you know, feel free to correct me in the comments if you're someone who's played the PC game previously. But so far, there have been no signs of voice acting. And my only other thing is, and especially with PlayStation 5, I feel like they need to take advantage of controller vibration and stuff like that in this game. There's no option for vibration right now, and especially with consoles like the Nintendo Switch and the PS5 having, you know, HD Rumble, the haptic feedback and stuff like that. The Xbox Series X and S now have HD Rumble. I definitely think they need to take advantage of that, because it'll really, really, really help enhance the combat of the game even more, which their combat is already awesome. You know, you can make it even better and give yourself some extra brownie points. But other than that, guys, I think the game's awesome and definitely worth checking out, especially if you are a Souls fan. But anyway, you all enjoyed today's video, smash that like button. I will see you all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.